Word. Okay. And just so you know, it's going to be, if you guys were in my Tuesday class, it's going to be a similar format, except that the intervals are going to be slightly longer. So it's going to be 45 seconds of work followed by 10 seconds of rest. We're going to do 3 circuits. There's going to be 3 exercises in each circuit. We're going to repeat the circuit twice. Then after we repeat the 3rd exercise a second time, we're going to do a plank exercise for 30 seconds. Again, I'll have a timer up on the screen, so it'll kind of make sense as we go. But let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up. So let's start with a couple of arm circles. So nice and small, we'll do a couple arm circles forward, keeping our shoulders relaxed, nice and tight, just to warm up our arms. Good, and let's go right into backwards. Good, you keep them nice and small. Good, and time. Okay, we will be doing some pressing, so I want to do some overhead stuff, so nice and easy. Just want you to keep your arms straight, thumbs pointed out. I want you to come up to about even with your ears, hold for a second, and then come back down. Good. We're going to do 8 of these. 2. Have a slight bend in your knees, body relaxed. Just come up and back down. Good. Try to keep your back nice and straight. We're going to do 4 more. 2. Last 2. 3. And 4. Last one. Okay, next one. We're going to do, it's called an inchworm. So I'm going to come to the edge of my mat, okay, and I'm going to slowly come down. I'm going to walk myself out to a plank. You can bend your knees, hold the plank for a second or 2. Then I'm going to walk myself back up. Okay, we're going to do 4 of these. So bend your knees, come down nice and slow, walk yourself out. Good. And come back up. That's 1. Pause for a second when you're in plank. Hold it. Come back up. Good. We'll do 2 more. And last one. Coming down really slow. And time. Okay. Next, we're going to get to our mat. And we're going to do, I call it bird dog. You may have heard it called something else. You're going to be on hands and knees. You're going to extend opposite arm and leg out. Hold for a second or 2, and then switch. Okay. We're going to do this 10 times, 5 times each side. So my back is nice and straight. I'm not lifting my arm or leg too high, just so my body is in one straight line. That's 2. We'll go to 10. Make sure we're keeping our core nice and tight, not rocking on our hips too much. That's 7. We got 3 more. 8. 9. Last one. Okay. Feet stand up. Just to get our heart rate going a little bit, we're going to do 40 seconds of jumping jacks. We'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. Good. Nice and easy, just to get our heart rate going. Good. Halfway there. Couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1, time. Okay. So let me make sure we're recording here. Yep, good. Okay, so we're gonna get into our first circuit. And our first exercise is gonna be an around the world. So you're gonna take your weights, your feet slightly staggered, palms are facing out. I'm gonna come out to the side, pause for a second, and come back up. Good. Then come back down. Pause to the side, come back down. Okay, so we're gonna do that for 45 seconds, followed by a 10-second break. Take it nice and slow. Really pause at the side and the top so you feel your shoulders burn. We can start in 3, 2, 1, go. Good. So I have my feet staggered, knees slightly bent, coming up, out to the side, pause in the middle, come back down. Good. Good. Keep going. And then once it gets easy, you can speed it up a little bit. If your weights get heavy, you feel like you're forcing them up, just make sure you have a little bend in your knees. And time, rest. Okay, next one. We're gonna do our down dog to our toe touch. So I'm gonna start my plank. I'm gonna pick my hips up, touch one toe, come back down, touch my other toe with my opposite hand. Okay. Let me just pin this. You guys can get started whenever you're ready. Okay. So I'm picking my hips up, touching my left foot with my right hand, and come back down. If you want to make this more difficult, you can add a push-up in between toe touches. You're gonna rest in 3, 2, 1, time. Our next one is gonna be Superman. So I'm gonna lay on my mat. I'm gonna have my hands in a Y in front of me. I'm gonna lift up my chest and legs, hold for a second, and come back down. Okay? You can start whenever you're ready. So I'm lifting up and coming back down nice and slow. Good. As I come to the top, I'm gonna squeeze my shoulder blades, squeeze my glutes, and come back down. Keep breathing. Try to exhale on your way up, inhale on the way down. And time. Okay, so we're going back to our around the world. So you can pick up your weights. I'm gonna make this a little louder so I can hear it. You can get started whenever you're ready. Good. So I'm pausing in the middle, feet staggered, knees slightly bent, coming back down. Good. Good. The longer you pause in the middle at the top, the more you'll feel it. Good. 10 more seconds. Try to get a couple more reps in. And then we're going back to our down dog toe touches. And time. Good. So again, if you want to make this one more difficult, add in a push-up in between toe touches. So I'm picking my hips up, touching my right foot with my left hand, coming back down to plank. You can keep your feet wide, that way you don't rock your hips too much. But make sure your core is tight, and I'm picking my hips up, touching my toe, or getting as close to my toe as I can. And time. Next, our Superman, coming down to the floor. Hands are gonna be in a Y in front of me, thumbs to the ceiling. Picking my chest and legs up, pausing for a second at the top, coming back down. Really squeeze your glutes to get your legs up and pinch your shoulder blades as you come up. And time. Okay. Now we're gonna just hold a forearm plank. So I'm gonna come down on my elbows, bring my legs out, and I'm gonna hold it for 30 seconds. Now, if you need to, you can always do a plank on your knees. Or if you wanna make this more difficult, try to rock yourself forwards and backwards with your feet. Good, a few more seconds. Try to keep your core nice and tight. Don't let your hips sag. And time. Good. So we're gonna rest for 40 seconds and then we'll start round two. You get a sip of water, wipe the sweat off your forehead, and then we'll start circuit two. All right, so the first move of round two is gonna be a double curl to a press. So I'm gonna have my weights. I'm gonna do 1, 2 bicep curls. From there, I'm gonna come up into a press. So 1, 2, press. So we'll start with that one in 3, 2, 1, go. So double curl, press. And again, I prefer to keep my feet staggered, slight bend in my knees just to protect my back. Good. 1, 2, press. Good. Exhale on your way up. Inhale as you're doing your curls. Good. 10 more seconds. Try to get a couple more reps in. 3, 2, 1, time. Our next one is going to be a renegade row. So it's going to be in plank. Okay. I'm about to be on my hands. I'm going to row up to my shoulder and alternate. Okay. If that bothers your wrists, you can do them with one dumbbell and just row up, squeeze your shoulder blades together, pass the dumbbell to your other hand. Okay, whatever's easier for you. Keep your feet wide, like wider than the mat. That way your hips don't rock as you do this. But as you row up, think about pinching your shoulder blades together. Good, couple more reps. And time. So our next one is gonna be a bridge with a fly. So on my back, hands are gonna be in front of me. I'm gonna press up into a bridge and only my arms move. So I'm bringing my arms out and back together. Try to keep your arms straight. You have a slight bend in the elbows. Squeeze your glutes to keep your hips up. Good. And try to exhale on your way out. Got a couple more seconds. Try to keep your hips up. And time. We're going back to our double curl press in 3, 2, 1. So 2 curls, press upwards. Make sure you have a slight bend in your knees. Press up. Good. Think about squeezing your biceps at the top when you bring your shoulders up, your dumbbells up, and then pressing up. Good. We're about halfway through. 10 more seconds, try to get a couple more reps. We're going back to our renegade row. And time. Okay. And back to a row. Also, you could do this on your knees if you want. If you need modifications, so just row up, keep your back nice and straight, and back down. Okay, so my shoulders are over my wrists, feet nice and wide. Pull up, squeeze my shoulder blades together, come back down. Good, about halfway. Here, my hips are in line with my body. They're not piking, they're not sagging. Everything's in a straight line. Time. Okay. Going into our bridge with our fly. So we're on our back, knees bent. Resting my hips up, bringing my arms out, and coming slowly back together. As you come up, think about squeezing your chest, and think about squeezing your glutes to keep your hips up. If you want to challenge yourself, try to come down for a count of 3. So 1, 2, 3. Hold at the bottom, come back up. Just take the tempo a little slower on the way down. Make sure your hips are staying nice and high. Don't let them sag. And time. Okay, our next plank is going to be a side plank on our right side. So I'm going to have my elbow bent, and I'm going to pick my hips up. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. If you guys need a modification, you can do it with your right knee bent. Good. You want to challenge yourself, you don't want to remember you're doing a plank, you could drive your elbow to your knee. This will just kind of distract you from waiting for 30 seconds. Coming down in 3, 2, 1, time. Good. So you got a 40-second break, and then we move on to our third and final circuit. Okay, so our next move is going to be a crab reach. We're going to start on the mat. I'm going to have my hands behind me, sitting on my butt. I'm going to pick up, then I'm going to touch my left foot with my right hand, and then switch. And time. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Good. So I'm touching left foot to right hand. If you find yourself really off balance, you could just pick one foot up, pick the other foot up. Good, keep going. 10 more seconds, try to get a couple more reps in. 3, 2, 1. Our next move is going to be a bear crawl walk in. So I'm going to start on plank. Okay. I'm going to walk my feet in, knees bent, and then walk them out. If you want to make this more difficult, hop in, walk them out. Hop in, walk them out. So my knees are hovering slightly over the ground, right? And my back is staying nice and straight. Good. My hips lifted, core nice and tight. Good. We're about halfway through. 10 seconds, don't give up. 3, 2, 1, time. Next one, we're gonna do skull crushers with our weights. So I'm gonna lay on my back, okay? Palms are gonna face, weights are gonna be parallel to the floor. I'm gonna think about bringing them to my temple, going back up. This is to work your triceps. So I'm bringing my weights to the side of my temple and coming back up. Hence skull crushers. If you want to challenge yourself, try to come down for a count of 3. So come down. 1, 2, 3. Pause for a second at the bottom. Squeeze the back of your arms as you come up. Good, time. So we're going back to our crab reach. And 3, 2, 1, go. I'm picking my foot up, touching my opposite hand, my opposite foot. If you want to make this more difficult, walk your feet out a little bit. You got a further way to go. Five seconds. Try to do 2 more reps. And time. Good. We're going back to our bear crawl walks. So then plank. And you can hop forward, step back up. Good. You can start whenever you're ready. Your back is nice and straight. Shoulders stacked over wrists. Make sure your fingers are spread out like they're floor. Good. Keep breathing. Don't give up yet. A couple more reps. 3, 2, 1, time. We're going back to our skull crushers on the mat. My weights parallel to the floor, coming down to the side of my temple. As I come back up, I squeeze the back of my arms. Good. Again, you come down for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Come back up. Keep breathing. This is our last one. And then we have a side plank, and we're all set. Time. Okay. Last one, we're doing our side plank with our left arm. So shoulders stacked, shoulder and elbow in a line, feet stacked, resting my hips up, I'm gonna hold this for 30 seconds. And again, same thing, you could do your touch elbow to knee. Good. Halfway, try not to let your hips drop, almost there. We're gonna come down in 3, 2, 1, time. Good job. Whew. Good job, everybody. We'll take a second and then we'll stretch. You get a sip of water. Okay, so let's start with a tricep stretch. So I'm gonna take one hand, I'm gonna reach it down my back, okay? And then with the other hand, I'm gonna bend down a little bit. You're gonna pull it close to you. It's gonna stretch your triceps. Good. Hold this for a couple of breaths. Good, and switch to the other hand. Reaching down, I'm reaching down my back if you can't see. And I'm pulling my other elbow close to the side of my head, my other hand. Good, and switch. Now we're gonna do a pec stretch for our chest. And it's just gonna look like I'm gonna keep my arms in goalposts, okay? I'm gonna focus on forcing my shoulder blades back. You should feel it in your chest. This is a really good stretch to do in a doorway. You just put your hands on the side of the door frame and then lean into it, and you'll feel it a little bit more. Good, next one we'll do a capsule stretch. So you're gonna swing your arm across. You've probably done this in every gym class ever. Hook your other arm underneath and just pull it nice and close to you. You're gonna feel it on your shoulder. Good, and switch. Good, and last one we'll do is child's pose. So we'll come down onto the mat, sit on our heels, hips go back, walk our hands forward. This will stretch our shoulders and our low back. And just sit nice and deep into this. And time. Perfect. So we're all set. Thanks for joining me this morning. I hope you guys liked it.
Thanks, Raquel. Great class.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
I'm sweating, so that's good. That's a good sign.
Okay, good. Yeah, me too. I feel it.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good day, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.